On this video, I'll be giving you an overlook of the HLL competitive scene, tournaments, special rules there are, and I'll also talk about how and where you can join the HLL comp scene. So, you are interested in the competitive scene of HLL, or you just stumbled over this video and have no idea what I'm talking about. HLL is a World War II tactical FPS where up to 100 people engage with each other. You might have spotted community or comp players already when you were playing. Often you see them with their tags in their names, and some of them being malice, most because they keep racking up high scores, destroying garrisons, or just annoying you with tanks from out of nowhere, yeah. Now, why you would want to join comp, that is up to you. Maybe you want to have tougher matches than on regular servers, maybe you love to have challenging fights against high-skilled players, or you like when 49 people have a microphone. So, how does one join a competitive team? The easiest and also the longest way would be to play on comp servers and get to know the community and the player base. This way you will naturally get a feeling for the community and find out if you both have good chemistry together. When it comes to HLL comp, there is a difference between PC and console. Most of the servers you see on PC are hosted by HLL communities, of which many are more or less active in comp matches. Or at least have some fun scrims against each other once in a while. Console also has a comp scene with tournaments and such, but sadly they lack the private servers and a server list. So therefore, for matches and events, they have to mass join servers and try to fill them up as quickly as possible. It's a bit more tricky. But what if you don't want to join comp this way? Maybe you don't want to wait, or you're maybe just in for the competitive factor. Maybe you just want to join the strongest team, because you yourself are a great shot and want to be the very best. If so, or if you just want to have an overlook, I recommend joining one of the many Discord servers of HLL tournaments, like Seasonal, European Community League, American Premier League, HLL Competitive Association, the 18 vs 18s, the People's League, HLL Summit, DMT League, or any of the others. I will post a list of links in the description. This way, not only will you see how well each team is doing, but you will also find links to the Discords of each participating team there. Now, if you just want to read up on teams without interacting in any way with them, the official HLL Discord has a channel where teams write down advertising information about themselves. This also can serve as a help. Then, of course, everybody can write anything, so it's up to you to check if the written text is actually true. Let's say you joined a team. Congratulations! Every community handles the recruiting process differently. At some you are recruited for a few days, others it's gonna be weeks or even months. It all depends on the individual group. I recommend checking in with the recruiters or augurs, depending what they have, if there's anything you should expect. Because some won't even know that you'll join for the competitive part, and thought you might only be here for the communal part. Plus, you can also learn if you're gonna play in a comp match anytime soon, because especially with bigger teams that have a vast pool of players, if they are facing enemies in a tournament, most often they will bring only the 50 strongest of that team. So most often you won't instantly play in big events unless you are of great skill or it is a friendly match. Or if you joined a smaller comp team. Now, again, this varies quite a bit depending on the comp team as well. Training often ranges from just hanging around together on the server and playing a bit, to doing weekly trainings, having little extra meetups where you learn how to rocket snipe garrisons far away, or similar special training events. And some teams won't do any kind of training, and they will just expect you to be good enough to play. So, comp teams vary a lot in their approach of things, how many matches they do, when or even if they do some kind of training, how much time goes into tactical planning and setting up openers, who gets to do what. Speaking of who gets to do what, especially when it comes to tournaments, teams often have rosters, where nearly every player has their own role to play. Attack squad leader, defensive engineer, depending on the format, you might also see roles like anti-artillery rocketeer or other wild ones. That being said, roles or classes can be very flexible, which is why sometimes you might go from being a tank commander to suddenly turning into an engineer and then a squad leader, all within a few minutes. So I briefly mentioned some tournaments. So let's talk tournaments. Tournaments happen over multiple weeks or months and bring together hundreds to thousands of comp players. To do some quick maths, the season of 2023 had around 33 teams playing, and with each bringing 50 to 100 players. Again, dropouts and people that don't have time, yada yada yada. That is 1,600 to 3,300 people. That is quite a margin of people playing. And that's just players that are actively involved in the matches. There's also all the community members who don't play but just want to cheer for their team. So tournaments take a lot of organization, manpower and nerves. Both for the organizers but also for the players. And the only thing you get in most of these is the prestige of winning. But if your team manages to beat the other teams and become celebrated as winners over thousands of others, what a sweet feeling of an achievement. These tournaments are quite different from your regular public play, since they often come with extra rules. Yes, cursed rules. A few of the major Hell Loose tournaments have taken notes from the seasonal rulebook, which is also a tournament as you have mentioned. Often you won't see a Panther tank, because they are banned in seasonal and some others, or you might only have one artillery being used instead of all three. You might also be forbidden from taking care of that one artillery guy. Some matches on the console follow the rule that you aren't allowed to cap the last point till it is only 10 minutes left to play, which is meant to give the other side a way to come back. A rule you will encounter quite often on the PC side of tournaments is that you only have 49 players on each side. One slot is set as a caster slot. A caster is basically a person that flies around an admin cam during the match and records or streams the match, so people that didn't play get to enjoy it. Now the comp situation on console is they don't have private servers, so nobody has admin cam rights. They play with the full 50 people on each side, but you often can watch the match from the POV of a participating player instead. And that is it for tournaments. So you know how to join comp, how comp life is, and where comp life often is heading to. You know some very basic lingo, and yeah, now it's up to you to make it happen and take a peek at Hell Loose Comp. If you do so, you will also encounter me, because I have been casting competitive matches for the last 5 years. I hope this helped some people. Don't forget to check the comments, because I would assume that at least 1 or 2 groups are gonna put their team and their Discord links down there in the comments, so you might already find some nice connections there. That's it from my side. Have a good one. Berg over and out. Beep boop.